Are you an archaeologist in African studies?
I'm an optometrist.
I see a picture of you in Africa over there.
Oh, that was a pilgrimage. Needed to pay my respects, ask for forgiveness. Well, you know, right?
I don't. I really don't.
Wait, you've never been to Africa?
No.
You gotta go. Man, it's your motherland. What are you thinking? Missing out? What are you?
Huh? What?
Where are your ancestors from? Congo? Ivory Coast? Southeastern Bantu region.
I don't know. This spooky thing called slavery happened and my entire ethnic identity was erased.
Exactly.
And now that it's over, I'll never be sober. I couldn't believe, and now I'm so high. And now I'm so high.
And what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode, Unfiltered Bachelor, the Breakdown Series. I am your host, Blake Money Blakeweather. How is everybody doing tonight? And with me, as always, on our adventure of breaking down the Atlanta series, is your favorite, or maybe he's not, your guy on the fly, your neighbor with the flavor, or you know what? Maybe he's not. Is he even your friend? Maybe he's not. You know what? It's Jeff.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Everybody's saying hi to you, but you can't hear him. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Fucking right they are. They don't say hi. They turn the goddamn episode off. Start it over. We'll come back.
You started over till you say hi to me, goddammit.
I swear I'm really chill.
But like, if you don't want to, it's cool. You don't have to. Like, it's just whatever, you know. We are back for episode 9, entitled Juneteenth. I'm just gonna say entitled from now on. Look at that. That's it. Just sounds
of the June.
10th of the June. This is so far we've bumped into one of my favorite episodes, which was the BAN. This is my next other favorite episode.
So if once again BAN was rated 9.3, we got Juneteenth at an 8.5.
Really, it was less than the club one, huh?
It was less than the club, but there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 that are rated higher than it. And 2 of those are an 8.6, so I'm assuming it's close.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I love this episode.
So it's still the top half.
I really, really like this episode. I don't.
Can I start by asking you a question?
Yes.
Did you know what Juneteenth was before this? Because I did not.
I knew.
And I didn't know if that's.
Here's the thing. I knew there was a Juneteenth. I knew it celebrated. Like I
honestly, I had no clue.
Okay, so I mean, I'm born and raised here. Juneteenth is a. I grew up on. I mean, I think you can grow up anywhere in Austin, but like I grew up on the other side of the tracks, and like every time like there was Juneteenth, like they would have shit at like the recreation centers that are on the east part of town. Mm-hmm. They'd have the Juneteenth parade. Like Juneteenth is a thing. It's a thing here because like of the population that we have here.
Well, I also looked it up, and it's Juneteenth is a celebration of the freeing of the Texan slaves specifically.
Okay, then it makes sense.
Now that's also supposed to be and literally once again I had to look all this up. That's the reason they celebrate the freeing of the Texas slaves is because that's a bigger representation of the rest of the Confederacy, kind of admitting defeat. So I honestly just didn't understand. I just didn't know if it was because I'm from the North. I'm from Illinois. I didn't know if it's just because I'm white. And yeah, this was a really interesting episode for me.
I think it's a little bit of like, because like I didn't know it was just a Texas thing. You know what I mean? Like until I read into it.
It's not. It's so hang on here. This might, let me look it up again because this might make it easier. It's not just a Texan thing, but it is. Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day or Juneteenth Independence Day, is an American holiday that commemorates June 19th, 1865, The June 19th, 1865 announcement of abolition of slavery in Texas, and more generally, the emancipation of enslaved African Americans throughout the former Confederate States of America. So I think it's, once again, it's not just a Texan holiday, but it celebrates the day that Texas did it, because Texas was obviously the biggest and strongest part of the Confederacy.
That's the part of the fact that I don't think I knew. I knew it was like a freedom, like the Freedom Day. I don't think I knew like it started like the fact that you said that I didn't know until you said it. I think is what I'm saying, which is awesome. I love learning stuff.
Fun fact: June 19th is my mother's birthday. My mother was born on Freedom Day.
This is fantastic. This is great news.
I mean, she was white, so she was already free. So I mean, I don't know. Wow. Anyway, back to this.
But yeah, I know where I grew up and everything like that. It was a big deal. And like I was going to say, I didn't finish my statement. It was part of the population, because part of the population here in Austin, like, and I don't know if it's gotten largely more white and less diverse. But like, I grew up with black kids and Mexican kids, and like, there is a black population here in town, and they do celebrate it hard. And I think it's fantastic. It's cool. Like they go all out, and it's fucking great. So to see an episode entitled that, it kind of, even before I looked it up, I was like, oh shit! Like I know the fuck. Like we turn up on Juneteenth.
I mean, for me, when I found out what it was about, how is this not a national holiday?
Yeah,
I think a holiday celebrating the abolition of slavery is kind of a good idea.
Kind of a big deal,
especially in a country that has a pretty painful past when it comes to the subject.
It seems like it's a holiday. Everything
Maybe
south of
let's all like show that we're on board.
Yeah, I think it's a holiday south of everything, south of the Mason-Dixon line, basically at this point.
But wouldn't you think that the people north of the Mason-Dixon line, the ones who fought to end slavery, wouldn't you think they'd be like, yeah, we should celebrate?
Yeah, they don't even, people don't even know. Like, this is one of those things, it's really, you know what? I think that's a great reason to entitle it this before we even break into our three things. Awareness. Mm-hmm. Awareness. How about that?
Absolutely. And, excuse me. And, I was going to say something. I don't know.
Anyways, you started the last episode with top three. Do you mind if I start with my top three?
Yeah, so let's hear. I was going to suggest it. Before we do you got the one piece of trivia on IMDb?
I don't have it word for word, but here's the Easter egg that everybody should know. In the background, when Greg, the husband, Craig, is it Craig or Greg? One of the two.
Craig. Hey,
Craig.
CRA.
Friday, yes. Craig, the husband, when Ern goes to his study, if you notice in the background, you have a picture of the album Childish Gambino's "Awaken My Love." This episode came out in October of 2016. The album came out in December of 2016. Very cool little Easter egg that they threw in there.
So something that I just noticed about this.
Okay.
Because I was just seeing the scene in the office and everything.
I have it right now. Yeah.
Okay, keep an eye on the album. Is the plastic still on the album? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did he not even give it an open one?
No.
Are they not even allowed to listen to it?
No, it's not open. It still has the plastic sheen on it. Yes.
I just thought that was real funny. Like, they're not even allowed to listen to it. No, fuck that.
It's so cool that it's already there, album form. This was October 2016. That means they already had it ready, or at least had the album cover art ready to go by October 2016.
Which is interesting because this album is a very different feel from Gambino's work prior.
Yes,
it's amazing. I love the hell out of it. But if you just like Gambino's sound as a rapper, you're not going to enjoy this album as much.
Yeah, this is. I think if you're a fan of like Kanye singing albums and stuff like that, or like Tyler Creator singing albums and shit like that, like you will be a fan of this album. It is obviously.
This felt like a very funky album.
Yes, it's very funk, psychedelic.
I got a lot of Prince notes, you know.
Yeah, it's got that soul funk, like a lot of that shit, and like it's fantastic. And everybody's at least heard one song from it. If you've seen the movie Get Out, or even if you heard the radio, the song Redbone, which is "Stay Woke," right? And stay woke, they be creeping. They gonna find you. But yeah, anyways, love that album, love that song. Anyways, let me get to my top three, so that way we can get this show on the road.
Please.
Now, when we start the episode, is the same girl in the pic the one we see in Value? Is this a girl he wakes up to?
I think it is.
I think it is.
I think it is.
Oh.
Which made me really upset because after last episode, I was like, "Oh man, is it the hot bartender?"
Yeah, no, it
And
was
it
just
wasn't.
the girl from Value, which is not
But
as
no,
hot, but
I think
still
you're
very pretty.
absolutely right.
Yes,
I think it is absolutely that. Oh my god, still just stunning, beautiful woman.
Stunning.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's her. I think you're right.
Now, and then there's another thing I noticed today. If you notice when Ern's looking through Craig's his study, was the white husband in like a predominantly or all black frat? Because there's a point where he looks and if you pause it on the scene, or even you just look and pay attention, there is a picture. It is Sigma Sigma Zeta was what's on there. It's the EEZ is on their shirts in the Greek letters, but it's Sigma Sigma Zeta. I looked it up. I couldn't find a real fraternity. But in the picture though, it looks like Craig is so embedded with like African American culture, just like he loves it so much that in college, it looks like he was part of a predominantly black fraternity. And if you notice what he's drinking is a mixed drink. Every other one of the dudes at the table who's a black dude, they're all drinking like it looks like Miller Lite. So even then he still sticks out. Like even then he's wanting to fit in and still like you're like, there's something still off about you too, huh? You know?
So, dude, I noticed that hardcore.
Really?
And I had the same thought as you. I was like, is he in a fucking all-black fraternity?
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I'm like, no, he wasn't in an all-black fraternity is just because I can't see them letting that be a thing. I can't see them being cool with that.
That's why I said it's predominantly.
But the thing is,
like predominantly black fraternity. You know what I mean? Like,
also, and this is going to sound stereotypical. It is stereotypical. It's not meant to be mean, but their colors were blue or purple and yellow, and a lot of black fraternities
they use that color.
adopt purple and yellow as their colors.
Yeah.
Because every fraternity and sorority has colors, and a lot of black fraternities do go with purple and at least purple, if not purple and yellow.
I feel like I've
But
seen
also,
that.
did you notice he's got that geeky fucking haircut too?
Yeah, I do, man. It's so funny. It's like
He looks like such a dope.
he sticks out like a sore thumb, but it's so funny to notice that little minor thing. The next thing I want to point out is a more serious overtone of this episode. The whole episode, this is, they think everybody, they put on, like, Van and Ern put on this front, they're married. This is a huge thing. It is a very huge thing because to the audience, you are, the really cool thing about this detail, you are in this inside joke with Van and Ern. They're clearly not married, but everyone else thinks that they are. And it sets the tone for how people react with them. Because they're like, oh, your husband this. Oh, my God. Your wife this. Your husband this. And it's just like, they're like, and you're cringing along with Van. You're on this inside joke with Van and Ern, scoping out the world. But
I love that you used the word cringe because I think, at least
cringe.
in season 1, this is the most cringe-tastic episode there is.
yes, all around, dude. All around.
Oh, my God.
I love. We're gonna probably come back to that point because I think that's it's a serious overtone of like the interactions that they have with all these different kind of people here, right? But
if you've
go
got
ahead
like
and
titles and subtitles, there's themes and like cringe is a sub theme, you know?
cringe is a sub theme, but the theme and the like again the overtone is they're married. But let's hit us with your three and let me see what I got to think about them.
All right, so my first one, what happened with Ern and Ern and Van, because dude, like they were seeing other people and it was kind of awkward that they were seeing other people and stuff, but before this episode it was not this hostile. This is a crazy hostile episode, and I understand that Van's under a lot of pressure. She's trying to use her connection with Monique to get a new job and everything, but like you smoked pot on your own, like you did all this fun on your own, like Ern has nothing to do with you losing your job. And like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's super messed up that like Ern goes from sleeping with the chick to going and being hubby to Van all day. And you know what? One of the first things I thought of was, bro didn't even shower.
Bro still got. I'm gonna be. This is not cringe. This is male. This is fucking sex talk right now. He's still got some wet. He's still got some wet on his peepees. You know what I'm saying? Like he woke up,
dude. If
still had sex on his peepees. You know what I'm saying?
If him and Van get intimate, which we find out at the end of the episode they do, that's hardcore sloppy seconds. That's not like a day, like he slept with a different girl yesterday and like, oh, whatever, you know, now today he and me are together. No, dude, like he flat up didn't clean himself between two people.
He's got dirty peepees.
It's like,
dirty peepees.
And I understand he woke up late, you know, and he didn't have time, but it was just like, oh, that's super awkward.
Right.
You know?
Bro, she clearly picked you up, and by the end of the episode, she's all over your nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah. I mean, she literally, as she's picking him up, sees the other girl wave by. And by the way, the other girl is being pretty cool about it all.
They are being,
you know?
they're all being
like,
as cool as possible.
Well, no. So that's the thing. Rando and Ern. Rando's like, so you coming over tonight? And Ern's like,
oh yeah.
Oh,
no, probably not.
No. So thanks. And she's just like, okay. Like that was a silly thing because Ern could have just been like, tonight's probably not a good night, you know?
Right.
Yeah, that would have been fine. And then she's even cool enough to like, you know, she walks him to the door and she waves goodbye to him. And clearly Van's there picking him up. She could have been that, you know, catty girl, come out, you know, give her a kiss, kind of, you know, mark her territory in front of Van. But instead she just gives him a little wave. I don't say it's not even like an up here high wave. It's hand by her waist and she just, you know, clenches her hand twice as a wave goodbye. Nice and cool and chill. And I was like, you know, like, honestly, that was... All things considered, a lot of girls would not react that well. A lot of people would not react that well. You know, knowing you're clearly just a one-night stand isn't always a good feeling. So
right.
I got to give the rando props for that. But then Van is clearly upset with her this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
But as we said, Van goes on dates. Yeah, we know that she doesn't, you know, she wants to just be her and Ern, but until they say it's just us, she doesn't really have that much of a right to get upset with him for this sort of thing. So coming into this episode, my first thing was I was like, something happened off screen that we haven't seen. At least that's what I think.
I don't think so. I think she was pissed off that she found that photo in Ern. Like I think already Ern's doing that thing, man. And you
right.
I'm gonna talk. We're gonna bring it back to Unfiltered Bachelor just for a second. If there's no title, on the
again, that's the point, bro.
Right. If there's no title on the motherfucker, if you're not anything, it's official, it's this, that. If you're just in this in between area, there's a lot you can still fucking do, and it's guilt. Like in your mind, it's guilt free. And like, if somebody else is catching feelings, it's up to them. It's up to you to talk about this and converse about it and do something about it, rather than just live in this. If you want to live in the gray area, guess what? There's gonna be a lot of gray things that happen. If you need to leave
and
I was gonna say,
no one's saying that Van's in trouble or Van's doing something wrong just because she has hurt feelings. It's the way she acts based on those feelings.
Yes, and I was gonna say, if you want to live in the gray, like you live in the gray. If you want to live in the black and white, like you live in the absolute. And sometimes some people need that. And I think Van is in her own kind of way. She just really wants it to work with Ern. And I think Ern is on the other scope of it. Like he likes, like, I think he loves his daughter. I think he feels
he loves Lottie.
He feels some type of way for Van, but also he understands too, like, he doesn't live there. You know what I mean? They're not together. They are separated. He is also too a manager for a rap guy, and he's around a lot of different people. And you're gonna meet a lot of different people. Yeah. You see in his phone clearly he's got a picture of this girl who took a selfie with his phone. Like, bro, like he's living what the kids call it his best life. He's doing what he wants to do, guilt free, because he's not
living the rap life. Man.
He's not attached to it. It was not even the rap life, just like the singles life. He's living a single person life.
Yeah,
and he's doing it
in his way. He's an attractive young man. I mean, he's gonna have girls coming up to him. He's gonna have. I mean, hey, he got that bartender.
Even though he's homeless, like, he's an attractive young man.
He's an attractive young homeless man.
Let's just put it out there. Your next one, sir.
All right, so the next one is Oh, what was the next one? Oh, so the next one, and this one was a bit awkward for me because I was like, man, I wonder why, like, this one doesn't seem like it's a big one, but when I started actually kind of thinking about it, it became a big one. I was wondering why the bartender was kind of being a wad towards Ern, you know? Because Ern goes up and the guy's just like, yeah, can you go get in the queue? You know, the line. And Ern's like, yeah, I know what a queue is. And then Ern tries ordering a drink, and the guy is, he's just being real fucking harsh on him about like, no, I can't just give you a cranberry soda. No, I can't give you a screwball. They're the normal drinks. They're what's there. And then Ern reads the drinks, and holy shit! Did you read all of those?
I have a picture of that. I took a picture of it. I'll read them off to you.
Did you read what the bottom one was?
I was gonna say, can I read them off to you if you don't mind?
Oh my god!
We have Juneteenth.
Please do.
Juneteenth juice. This has rum, mango, and carrot juice. We have a frozen freedom margarita. This has tequila, triple sec, blood lime. Blood lime. I just want to highlight that. Emancipation.
Well, hang on, because the thing is, real quick, before you go any further.
Okay.
Those are fine. Not that big of a deal. And I will point out to you, blood lime, it's a lot. It's like orange and blood orange are two different flavors. So that's
Right.
that's what that is.
Right.
But so far, fine. Not a big deal.
Emancipation
Feel free to
eggnog.
keep-
Emancipation eggnog made with, hey, check this out. Made with free-range chicken eggs. I want you to know this.
That's the only definition of the recipe. Not rum or anything in it, just made with free-range chicken eggs. Oh my
Bro,
God.
and just like Ern said, he's like, man, it's not even Christmas.
No, he goes, it's the middle of summer. You know?
We have the Plantation Master Poison. This is vodka, triple sec, bitter lemon soda. We have the Abolition and Absinthe, served with, check this out, unbleached sugar cube. What the fuck? We have the Underground Rum Road. This is gin, OJ, and bitters. So a gin and juice with bitters. It's a gin and juice with bitters, ladies and gentlemen. The last one is
I think this last one.
40
Yep,
acres.
this is the one that I was like, holy shit.
40 acres and a Moscow mule. This is blood lime.
God.
This is blood lime juice, vodka, and cola champagne.
So the bartender, Ern gets in line, and the bartender's like, no, we just got these, we got the special drinks tonight. You got to order off those. And Ern's reading them. He goes, Emancipation eggnog? He goes, man, it's summer. And the bartender, who's clearly older than Ern, I mean, he's got all gray hair.
Oh, yeah,
he
yeah.
snaps and he goes, man, do I got to explain alliteration to you? He's angry. Which, real quick, I know this is not the point of it, but I'm going to say it. Alliteration is with consonants. Assonance is when it's all vowels. So,
Ooh.
yeah, Ern needs to explain assonance to you, motherfucker. But I was sitting there and I was just like, Ern's just trying to get a drink. Why is this guy being such a dick to him? And, honestly, I think it was after I read that full fucking list. And it was like, this is a black guy who's old enough that he's got all gray hair. And the majority of other people at this party are also black, and they're also very clearly affluent, rich, and everything. And you find out as the episode goes on that it's a Juneteenth episode. It's the celebration of the abolition of slavery in Texas, and by extension, all the rest of America.
All the South, yeah.
And they're just kind of like, and for them, it's just a joke, fuck you celebration. And I just realized, like, man, think about being in like your 60s. And this guy's I'm assuming grown up, lived in the South. He lives in Atlanta now, and he's got these yuppies who are basically making a fucking joke, making puns out of his history. And I couldn't imagine how much anger he must feel on a regular basis. How just like, what a slap in the face this almost feel like to him. And now he doesn't understand. He doesn't know that Ern is just, a regular guy like he is. But like, man, dude, that was a real realization for me. One of those things that I think is a part of the point of this show, which is like helping people like me see something I wouldn't normally see. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, my first reaction was like, well, that's a dick of a bartender. And I was like, oh, wait. Yeah. You know that whole world that he lives in that I don't? That's a part of this.
Yeah, he's pissed off. In general.
Yeah. And has a right to be.
This whole episode has that weird. Did you not get this kind of like vibe of like it's kind of like opposite of like Get Out? You know, Get Out had white people.
Oh yeah,
it's like kind of opposite that, and like it gives you that kind of like even Earn in this episode. Like I don't mean to like just because black people. No, it's like fucking it's weird. And even Earn at the end of the episode, he's like, this is weird. This is all weird. This is whack. This is whack.
He kept saying it's all whack. He says this is stupid. She's stupid. Yeah, and he's not wrong.
No, it's all fucking weird, bro. And like even to the point where like he goes, are those the ice cubes? He's like, are those slave ships?
So that was such a big part of it for me. It was what the fuck is it? And it wasn't the ice cubes. It was the serving trays.
Oh yeah,
on the
that's
fucking
right.
table. You're picking food off a fucking slave ship. Yes. And like that's not guys, if you're imagining this, we're not like making a funny joke. We're not making an off-color joke. It's literally they made miniature slave ships, put food on them, and put them on a table at a party for the abolition of slavery.
What in the fuck?
Why don't you garnish everything with cotton? I mean, Jesus Christ. It was like, what are you fucking doing?
It's so crazy too. Even when he walks in, and they've got the black people singing like spirituals. You know what I mean?
I love. Well, I don't think it was spirituals, dude. I think it was an old slave song.
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I was like, as far as I know, they're spirituals. I don't know.
I'd have to go back and actually like look up the lyrics, but yeah, I think it was a slave song.
I mean, I feel like that's what spirituals were, right? Like that's what the spirituals.
And all the guys that were. I mean, could be. Once again, it's just something that I'm not as familiar with.
Yeah.
But they were also dressed in. Did you notice they were dressed in like time pieces?
Yes.
Like they're period pieces.
Yes. You know? They're not wearing clothes that you wear now. Like it's real like shit that you see like in 12 Years a Slave type shit.
Jim Crow clothes, man.
Yes.
Which brings me to my third point. Now, a real big part of this episode is what Monique points out, that how her husband basically has the black as a hobby. But another part of this episode is also, I think, how Monique hates black culture. Or maybe let me correct myself, because I don't think what I just said is, it's not that she hates black culture, she hates common day black culture. Like the fact that, like, look at the second she finds out that Earn she likes that Earn's in music management, but the second she finds out it's a rap artist, she fucking shuts down, dude. She turns on a hard dime. And it's like, all these people are sitting here and they're talking to Earn about how like, oh, you know, you have to be a part of the life and everything. But they're talking about like being the pastor of a mega church and how you have to literally change everything about yourself. They're talking about how the woman pitching the play.
Oh yeah.
About rival gangbangers in a strip club holding a pastor and a drug dealer and a pregnant teen hostage in the middle of Hurricane Katrina. And she's like pitching this to him, which, by the way, I don't know what ethnicity that woman was, but like, I mean, because the thing is, she could be African American. I don't know. She could just be very light skinned, but she could also be, you know, Latina, and I wouldn't know. Mm-hmm. But like, that is such a, I don't want to say appropriation, but just like it's such a.
Wait. I think you just hit on it. Doesn't it feel like appropriation in a different way? In the way that...
It's weird because it feels like they're appropriating their own culture almost.
Yes. In the way that Paperboy does it, and it's very like that's it's rap. Like people like everybody loves rap, but like to do it in this way, it's more blatant. It's more like, do you see what I'm saying?
You know why? I literally just realized.
Go for it.
It's because Paperboy is he's holding a mirror up to his life. He's rapping about what he's seeing on a daily basis. These guys are talking about and trying to promote what the typical person sees, but that they don't see at all because they're privileged.
Boom. Appropriation appropriation from a distance. How about that? This is sniper appropriation.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I also got to throw this out there, man. I mean, as a white guy, I feel so awkward talking about like
this episode.
Well, you know, this black person really doesn't understand black culture, and it's like, oh, Jeff, you don't understand this shit. But like, The closest I got is that I understand just how little I know. You know?
Yeah, I don't want us to come off like we're a bunch of Craigs. First of all, we're not that.
Dude,
that's not what's going on.
This is just what we're seeing.
Yes.
Which I hope is also understood that I think what we're seeing and what we're saying is what the point of the episode is, what the episode wants you to see and think. It wants to get these points across to you. One of the most fucked up parts of this episode to me,
when he does the fucking deaf poetry slam.
No, that was just stupid.
Oh, okay.
For me, it was when Craig says to Ern, "What are you?" Ern goes, "What?" And he goes, "Where are you from?" And he starts like naming like the Ivory Coast, Nigeria, South Bhutan, and it's like So this is something that I don't know that a lot of white people really do grasp. Honestly, the only reason I know it is because when I was a kid, there was a show I saw where one of the black kids had this sort of an issue. Not most, but a good amount, maybe most, of African American people aren't aware of what their heritage is. I know I'm Italian, Irish, and German. But a lot of the black culture, a lot of the black people in America, literally, as Ern says, there was this kind of messed up thing called slavery that kind of stole my ethnic identity. And a lot of black people still don't know where their ancestors come from.
Right.
And, like, I'm lucky to know what I know. Like, I'm lucky to know that I've got family in all these different places. But, like, I can't even imagine how. I wonder if it would be painful or if it's just something that you don't even think about the fact that you just don't know where your ancestors came from.
And I love how it's pointed out in this episode, dude. Like, Donald Glover does such a great episode in this of pointing that out. One of the things I also
as usual, he does it with such good humor.
Yes, it's all, and you see it all through the eyes of like this dude Craig. God bless him. Probably one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet in your life. And all he wants to do is like just like try to help out like black culture from his point of view. Like, he's a white dude who just wants people to be aware of who they like. Just wants to, he just wants to be like, listen, black culture is so amazing, and this is why it's so amazing. And I think that's fucking. First of all, that's fucking awesome. Second of all, though,
it was like a couple episodes ago when I was saying I love Japanese and Hawaiian culture, but I don't want to feel like I'm appropriating it.
Right.
Craig's the same way, except it's black culture, And
except he, like, low key. I'm gonna use the word low key. Low key is appropriating it. He serves Ern Hennessy, bro. The fuck, bro. First of all, the fuck,
I love
bro.
Ern's face when he takes a sip because you could tell he clearly thinks it's scotch, and then he takes a sip and he's like, "Oh, is that Hennessy?" Which I gotta throw this one out there. Hennessy sucks.
That I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all.
And I'm very sorry to have to because one of my favorite characters ever loves his cognac Courvoisier, but I just am not a Hennessy fan.
The latest man. But listen, I love brandy. I love very old brandy. I love Louis the 13 or Louis 14. Louis 13, Louis 14. One of the two, whichever one's.
You've tasted some? It's 13.
Yeah. Louis 13. Yeah, my dad's bought me some.
I'm jealous.
My dad has bought me some for special occasions. I've had some in the past year. I think it was Valentine's Day. Yeah, because they serve it around Valentine's Day, actually. They have the bottle. Yes, I've had that. I love it. It tastes amazing. I love brandy. I'm not a fan of fantasy, though. And Ern doesn't seem to be a fan of it either. But also, and I'm not speaking for him, but I think the point I was trying to get to this is he goes, one of the instances, and I had to pause it here, and he's like, are you into like African studies? He's like, I see a picture of you like in Africa. And he's like, no, I had to make the pilgrimage. I had to ask for forgiveness. You know how that is. And Ern's like, no, I don't. I really don't. And he's like, wait, you've never been to Africa? Bro, Craig is so like in his own world. Like he thinks he's doing the most. And he is doing the least because he still thinks that like people like he meets every day. He's so like in his own world where he can meet people that can make a travel like that. Where he meets somebody like Ern. Ern is an everyday type of guy. And clearly, like, he's fitting into this world. He's like, so if you're in this world, you must have gone, or you must have the money to go, right? Like, and it's like, no. Oh, yeah. No.
Like Ern says at the end of the episode, you know? He says, and you know what, man? I've never been to Africa because I'm broke, man. But I also love what Ern says. He goes, and stop being so nice, because you could tell he wants to be more upset at Craig, but Craig's just too nice. Yes. He's just too sweet of a guy.
Craig
he is.
That's how, like, and it makes sense now how like Craig got into maybe a predominantly black like fraternity. Like, dude loves the culture, and he's just like, he's too fucking like, I don't want to even say nice. It's almost like he's too like, you're like, he's not even doing this from a bad place. He's like doing this because he like loves it. He's just ignorant. Like he's just ignorant to like how he's coming off, but like he's coming from like a very heartfelt place. And it's so much to the point of like he's ignorant of like what the fuck he does. Even Monique talks about, she's like, he told my 89-year-old grandma she was making collard greens wrong. And you're 95. Like, oh, 95, yeah.
95-year-old like, grandma.
Oh, hell no. I was like, oh, hell to the no. You did not, Craig. Craig, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Yes.
Oh man,
that makes sense, though, right?
Absolutely,
that makes sense, though, right? What I
it
just
absolutely
said.
does.
Yeah,
no, it 100% does, and it is the description of him, and once again, it's the ignorance, maybe even the innocence.
Yeah, he doesn't mean
ignorance. You need to even be more. You need to be aware of what you're doing. He's not even aware.
No,
that what he's doing. And the second that Ern points it out, he's apologetic. You know,
he's like, I'm so sorry.
Sense where he's a sweet guy, but he's just like, oh, you're just doing it all wrong, man. Like every part, every part.
He's like, I see where you're coming from, but also like, hey, man, hey, man, hey, I want to hate you, but it's not. You're not being. There's not a rude bone or like a malicious bone about you. Like you're not doing this from a place of hate at all.
Well, and that's the funny thing, because at the end, when they find out that he's Paperboy's manager, Craig is so happy because Paperboy's this young rapper that's up and coming and everything, and he's been through the struggles and everything. And Monique's sitting there like, oh, a rapper, huh? Oh, really? A shooting? You're not going to shoot up our house, are you, Ern? And she's being such a bitch. Yes. Whereas Craig, he's just a sweet guy. He's so happy, he's even happier. He's like, oh man, I get to meet a real rapper's manager. This is the best day of my life.
Yeah, that's the best day of Craig's life. Yeah.
Whereas Monique is looking down her fucking nose at these people and like, oh, you're part of that lifestyle.
Yeah,
which I applaud. I applaud Ern for going off on her, and for how he did, because he just points out like, no, this is just all messed up. This isn't cool, and it's because she starts mocking his family. That's when he's finally had enough. Because by the way, like, this is a big day for Van, and she needs it. She needs him to play the role and play the part. And I'll tell you what, he fucking steps up. He does a real good. He plays the exact person that they all want to see. He plays the exact person that they all expect to be at one of these parties, and he really helps Van out. And it's literally just when Mo starts fucking making fun of Paperboy that he's like, you know what? No, not anymore. Done.
So we're focusing a lot on Ern.
And I give him credit for that.
I want to take this the next like few minutes. I want to focus on Van and Ern's relationship just for a few minutes, and then we can kind of round this out, because there is that point where like, dude, she excuses him. Like, when they're outside and he's like, oh my God, she's just a wonderful woman. She's just a wonderful wife. Like she does all these things. Like he says all of the things. He says all the things that I think it's some of the most sweetest things Ern's character says about Van in front of Van's face. Two other people, like letting public know, like this is what I think of her. And here's the thing. Van excuses herself. And it instantly takes you to, oh, wait a minute. He was just with another girl this morning. Is this an act or is this really how he feels? And it's so fucked up that it takes you, like, her removing herself takes you out of the moment of like, oh, fuck, dude. Like, Ern is either saying this from the heart in the moment or like he's just saying this as a character, you know, and it's fake. And you're like, fuck, I don't know which one. Does that make any sense?
100%. And here's my question to you. Up until the point where he kissed Van on the cheek, I think it would have been fine. Do you?
It like added a little...
I think it was when he kissed Van on the cheek. Yeah, and that's why, like, because she comes back in and she's like, "You're mean," and he was like, "Okay." And I think like the only part of it that I did think was mean was that he kissed her on the cheek because you could tell she clearly didn't want it. But at the same time, you're also trying to impress these people, so like, awkward.
And he's not like the thing
but
is
the entire point was he's playing his part that she asked him to play.
Yeah, and the thing is he's not trying to impress anybody. Like they scroll to the scene right now that I'm talking about. And they asked like, Ern, what do you do? And he's like, nothing. Literally, and he makes his face like nothing. And they're like, this motherfucker right here. Like, no matter what you do or say, like everybody thinks that like you can't be serious.
No
like,
matter what you say or what you do.
I'll be here with you. I'll be right by your side till 2005. Hold up. But
hold up. Yeah, we just did that.
Yes, we did. We've also done that in karaoke. But also,
oh no, we appropriated.
Oh God. But it is that where Ern is just being like kind of like as honest as possible. And so maybe he is being honest.
I think that was the most honest out of any of his interactions.
You know
because,
what?
I mean,
maybe he
the lady about the play, he was clearly, I think he was being honest there.
Yeah.
The lady with the play, he was clearly just stroking her ego. The megachurch dude, he was like, okay, just be polite. But like with these ones,
game's over.
It was a different feel.
Game's over.
He had a different attitude, you know?
And so now that kind of it goes into what this conversation we just had is what he said. Did he really mean it? And I think he did. I think he did because he chases her down. He asks, "What's wrong? You're mean," and like his face is like he literally is like, "I'm sorry." Like I don't think he was trying to piss off Anne, but I think she didn't want to hear. Like I think she was feeling it from, oh, he's still being fake. He's still being like this character he needs to be, and so none of what he's saying right now even matters. And like none of what he's saying has any. I shouldn't even like. It's so sentimental, but with a shade of fake that like I can't even pay attention to it. Does that?
No. I think you got that
works,
right on the money, man. And I think, yeah, absolutely. And I wonder. The other thing is, at this point, Van is trashed. Mm-hmm. I wonder if she were sober, if she would have been able to see through it better, because like they do have a pretty good relationship, and so like the fact that she wasn't able to kind of really tell who he was at that point, kind of surprised me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The relationship, it's so crazy that if you have to imagine. So like we rewind into this episode. This is the episode, much like we did with Little Dicky last week. This is the episode before the season finale. And this is the episode where we have some...
Yeah, man.
We have some, like... And this is crazy, too, that it's kind of the opposite of what happened in Dave. But it's the opposite of what happened in Dave, right? Where the beginning of Dave, they're together. By the end of it, you're like, whoa, what's going to happen? The beginning of this, you're like, whoa, what's happening? And by the end of it, you're like... Oh, they hooking up in the car, girl. All right, baby.
Yeah.
All right, baby. Get your play on. But like,
do you think Van would have hooked up with him if she were sober?
Yeah. I know. I think she did because he said everything that she wanted to. Like he's. There's a certain part of Ern like she could see, I think, in the like he's walking her through this emotional roller coaster, right? Like they're playing, we have to take it up, because we're riding the fake train and we're riding it, right. And he goes through this emotional like lull, like this emotional craziness when he does that whole thing of like, she's a mother and she's amazing, and if it wasn't for her, I don't know where we'd be, and yada yada yada. I think it makes her. It definitely invokes emotion. Well, hang on real quick. Let me just wrap this up with a nice, pretty bow.
Yeah, please do.
Because I'm on this like rant real quick. It invokes emotion from her, and so much so she goes down and she's like out of the bathroom and she's trying to come up. And she doesn't want to fucking hear it from Ern. She doesn't want to fucking hear it. Monique pulls her to the side, and I think she starts taking in this whole nother set of emotions where, like, you know what, like, you're not all like, you know, she's telling Monique like, maybe you need to be with somebody else besides Craig. I get it while you're doing it, and I think
because remember, Monique was saying how she likes Craig, but she loves the money,
right? And in her instance, I think this is the moment where she starts to realize like, maybe she doesn't love the money. Maybe she loves Ern. You know what I mean? Maybe she likes the money, but loves Ern. And so when Ern is the real guy, like is the honest, just the voice. He's the voice of the audience in this episode. Every episode,
absolutely.
Haven't we always done this? Like we pick somebody who's like, this is the voice of the audience. He says what we're all fucking thinking.
That's really interesting. I actually kind of like that they jump between the people who are. It's not just a one person. I actually like that.
Right. It's not always one person.
I think that's a really good point.
Thank you. But like in this case, Ern is it, and Ern is saying everything we want to say. Like we want Ern to have a fucking drink of something besides these fucking appropriated drinks, right? Like when he finally finds a guy that has the fucking Red Bull, you're like, yes, he's gonna fucking do it, right? We're rooting for him. When he finally meets the kids that fucking, and I'm on that scene right now that like no paperboy, you're like, oh shit, he's got a little fame to him. When he finally says all of the things at the end of the episode, where it's like, this is fucking weird, this is fucking whack, like you're whack, like this whole thing, stop being so fucking nice, like he's saying everything we've been thinking the whole episode.
So that's a big part of it, by the way. I think that's a big part of it too, is he's like, no, this is whack, she's whack, blah, blah, blah. But I think an important point is he looks at Van and he goes, and you know this too. Van, you see it too. And I think it's that point where he's acknowledging that, you know, it's not just that he's going off on all this, but he's acknowledging that like Van's been uncomfortable the entire time she's there.
Going through it with him.
I think that was a big part of that.
She's going through it with him.
Yeah.
And he's,
and I think that he made them a team by doing that.
Even
though Van wanted like to kind of use Mo to get that connection, you know,
what he finally did is acknowledged her feelings. And that's what she's been
exactly.
She's been chasing that since episode 1. Remember, like when she's like, "Tell me you love me," and he's like, and she's like, "Oh,
of course."
God. She's been chasing him to acknowledge her feelings this whole season, and it comes to a fucking like peak in this moment, which is why she fucks him in the car at the end of this episode. Like they are now like better than ever than we've ever seen them.
I think that they made love.
They was practicing making babies. They was practicing making more Lotties. You know what I'm saying?
Lottie needs a sibling, bro.
Hey, bro. Let's see what season 3 and 4 bring upon us.
Man, dude, this was a good episode.
This is one of my favorites.
This is an important episode.
If I hadn't said it before, this is one of my favorite episodes in the series. It's probably the BAN episode, this one, and I don't know if it's the next one or not, but it might be. This might be my top 3. But we'll get to the next one in the next episode of this. Is there anything we haven't touched on that you'd love to hear about?
The only other thing that I've got was I just like that they also called out the dude from the megachurch, you know, and how a megachurch isn't really about, because they first off they were calling the guy was being just super shady, and he was just like, oh, Ern, come on, a woman needs this and a woman needs that. You need to change everything for the woman, and blah 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 blah. And then he goes, I'm from a megachurch, and they're both like, yep, we already mentioned that. And then he goes, and then he says 2 more things that were great. He goes, I can even teach you how to manage your money. And like, yep. I mean, how definitive of a mega church? How descriptive of a mega church? Like, oh, the man knows what's right and the man's doing what's right and money, money, money. And my favorite part of their whole conversation was how it ends. The entire time this dude's wife is there, and Ern just looks over and goes, sorry, and your name is? Because that's the way this guy is. She's just his property. She's just his what he's got just standing next to him, you know? So of course he never introduced her the entire time he was having this fucking why you need to join us rant.
why you need my version of Jesus rant. You know what I mean? It's insane.
Yeah, you know?
I really do love this episode. That was great. This whole thing was great. And I want to point out, at least Hiro Murai directed this episode, and he does such a great thing for anybody that's noticed the Hiro Murai episodes where he does this thing, and he did it when the pastor guy was talking, and he did it again if you go back and watch episode 1 or episode 2, where the security guards or the officers are talking to Ern. He does this thing where he films people from their back, and you see the other person that they're talking to's face, but you never see the person who's talking, like who is doing the talking. You never see their
looking
face.
Over their shoulder almost.
Yeah, looking their shoulder, looking behind them, and seeing the reaction. But the person's talking, you never see their mouth. But it's almost like it does this weird thing to you where you're like this kind of authoritarian, like it creates this authoritarian figure, like this maskless authoritarian figure that is supposed to have like some sort of like, you know, like, hey, I have power. You know, it creates this kind of power thing with the camera that's really weird, but it's really subtle. And Hiro Murai continuously does it throughout the season. There's probably a bunch of instances I'm not even thinking about, but he does it a lot.
It does that, but, you know, I think it also does a thing where it puts you more in that person's perspective, more of their point of view. Because when it's just looking at someone, it's like, oh, we're just watching a screen or a play or something. But when you're looking over the shoulder, it feels more like you're in their shoes, you know? Well,
not even in their point of view shoes, but in like the reactions that they're making, right? Because a point of view would be like, they're seeing this person talking. That's point of view. What the important thing of Hiro Murai, I think, is showing you, to touch on that note, and I think you're absolutely right, is he wants to show you the reaction that these characters have to what the fuck is being told to them by some nameless character. It doesn't even matter what their face is, but what's their reaction to like what's going on in their surroundings right now by somebody that's talking to them. I think that's your 1 and 2 make 3. We just did this right now. I love it. Jeff.
I mean, dude, there's a reason hey, Air 5. There's a reason we work well together, man.
Yes.
Oh, let's go.
I love it, man. Jeff,
this is such a good episode and an important episode. Yeah.
Fucking great
anyway.
Episode, man. Where can people find you if they want to talk more about this episode? Anything Atlanta?
They can Skype me at Don Cheadle's driveway at littledickie2.com. They can try and find me on Facebook, or they can stand 6.2 feet away and yell at me. In real life. I don't care if Texas is reopening on Friday. You still need to stand 6 feet away from me.
Bag back. Give me 6 feet. And I want to give a little. I want to give a little nod to next week's episode before we break it down. Jeff, it's like they know you, but they don't really know you. If you guys have seen the series finale, you'll get that line. If not, come back. Like, this is a nod to episode 10. It's like you know us, but you don't really know us. It's like I know you, but I don't really know you. Come back to see how that pays off on the next episode. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Follow Unfiltered Bachelor Instagram. Yeah, I was going to say, follow the podcast, Unfiltered Bachelor, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can follow the podcast also on all of your favorite podcast apps, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, everywhere podcasts are, that's where we are. If you're listening to this on anything other than that, then you found us. I thank you for finding us. Save us, subscribe to us, write a review. Share this episode with one friend that loves Atlanta. How about you do that? Can you at least start there? Thank you so much for doing that. We just want to say thank you so much. And if you have any other questions, anything we missed, feel free to email us unfilteredbachelor@gmail.com. moneyblakemail.com. You can find me, Money Blake Weather, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. It's all Money Blake Weather. I thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of our Atlanta Breakdowns. I'm so hyped to break down the series finale and kind of break down the series, like the season one with Jeff next week. So tune in for that. And until the next time, we will see ya. And I appreciate you listening, whether it's morning, evening, afternoon. Have a good one. And as always, as we say, peace.
Girl, what's your problem? 'Cause I know it's hard sometimes. Baby, just give me some time. Ooh, on and out, girl. We can solve them. If you just give me some time, I can open up your mind.